Today was the day to move our 3D fence. And this fence is a fence that we use to keep the deer out of our garden. So what we did is we ended up moving the fence down one row here, but at the very bottom we added a whole nother row as well. Or two rows, I should say. So that's going to help us with comfort. But there's a couple of things about this fence. First off, you have an outside line, which is what this is, and then you have an inside double line. So you have a lower one and an upper one. And basically what happens is when you stand, if I was a deer, and I were to stand over here, being low enough, oops, that's not adjusted correctly. I'm going to go down here and show you that. So if I'm a deer and I'm low enough, it looks like I've got this funny fence, right? I mean, it looks like it's 3 strands. And to a deer, that's very confusing because they don't have really good depth perception. So they can't figure out how to get over this. So it's only 4 feet tall on the inside. It's actually not even 3 feet tall on the outside. And then once you put in your posts, so we put T-posts in every corner, every bend I should say. And then we've got these fiberglass posts that just go in, I don't know, they're only in like maybe 6 inches just to hold up every section and keep the spacing correct. There's 3 feet between these 2 lines. The inside line down here at the bottom is going to be about 20 inches high. Top one is going to be about 48 inches high. And this outside one is about 34 inches high off the ground. Now, given the fact that we're on a hill, we do have to make some adjustments. So if I was a deer, I'm about here or so on the outside. But when I walk up to the fence, it's a little different. So we do need to make some adjustments as we go along and tighten it up. But this is our 3D fence that we've moved today. So what we used to be, you can see in here where those 2 sets of posts are, that's where it used to be. And I moved it on the outside of our fruit trees that we planted last year or the year before. That far fruit tree all the way over here at the end is the one that I grafted. It's a peach tree from an ancient peach, a pear tree, ancient pear here in West Virginia that comes from a farm. It's the only tree like it that anybody knows of anyway. So there's comfrey in here as well, and the deer have been eating the comfrey, which they don't like, so they say. But our deer seem to eat it. Once you're on the inside of the fence, and I will admit that if you're on the inside of the fence, it's basically useless for deer, because if you're inside of it, it looks like you can easily get out. So the idea with this fence is it's electrified, and then the deer don't want to come in here. Once they're in, they'll generally get out pretty readily, but you definitely don't want them to learn how to do that. So we bought all this stuff from Premier One Fence. You know, Gallagher and some other people probably have very similar, or if not the exact same thing. These white posts, as I mentioned, are nothing more than fiberglass. So there's a shorter outside post, which is what that is. This will be easier. And then there's a taller inside post, because we need to go up 4 feet on the inside. So basically it's just a matter of putting these in. You know, a stretch like this that I'm working on is not that long, so I'll just put in one in the middle. But some of the longer sections that we have, especially this run over here, which goes from the bottom all the way up, that one we're going to have at least 2, maybe even 3 sets just supporting it. So these corners all have springs to keep tension, and just in case something goes wrong, they'll spring back and forth. And then we have insulators just tied off with some paracord, 550 paracord, because you always have lots of 550 paracord around, or at least we do. And you know, the hardest part really is just getting it all lined up and taut.